Uh, Good evening, guys. Can you please confirm if the audio and video is clear to everyone? Can you please confirm if the audio and video is clear to everyone? Come on, guys. Wonderful. So I have a query on my screen that, sir, in the last class you mentioned that you have to appear 5 past papers. So does this include past papers only, or it can include practice exams or pre-mock paper? It can include practice exams. It can include pre-mock papers as well. It can, okay, but yes, prioritize to solve past papers. But yes, you can involve practice exams. You can involve pre-mock exam definitely. Okay. If you take my recommendation, I always recommend at least solve 5 past papers plus 1 pre-mock exam. But still, even if you are solving 5 exams including the pre-mock exam, that is also sufficient. Okay, but at least 5 exams is important. At least 5 exams are important. Okay, now is that clear, everyone? Now, so today my target is to discuss the ethics, and in this session I'll be discussing the approach, how exactly you need to write your answers in the exam, or what are the mistakes that you as a student do in the exam, that how exactly you need to write a question on ethics, how exactly you need to deal a question on ethics. Okay, so tell me, shall we proceed further? Come on, guys, give me a go ahead. Shall we proceed further? In the last session, I have discussed the top 10 tips for success in ACCA SBR. Now, I believe all of you have already watched that. If not, then please, after this session, you should go and watch that video as well. Okay, because that will give you the clear insight or detailed insight of what are the do's and the don'ts for the SBR paper. Okay, now, so let us discuss about the ethics. Hi, Suraj. Now, so question number 2 of SBR paper generally deals with the ethics paper. Okay, generally deals with the ethics topic. Now, understand, this question on ethics is a mixture of ethical issue and an accounting issue. It is not always a ethical issue only. No, it will be an ethical issue plus an accounting issue. Okay, so now you have to find out what exactly is the accounting issue happening in this scenario, plus you need to find out what are the ethical issues in this scenario, and then justify with your relevant points. But how exactly to justify, we'll discuss in the class. So let's read this question. Dario Company is a pharmaceutical company. The financial year end of Dario Company is 31st December 20x7. The following exhibits available on the left hand side of the screen provide relevant information to the question. So there are 2 exhibits given. Exhibit 1 is ethical considerations, and exhibit number 2 is operating segments. So now our target is ethical considerations only. Okay, we will be discussing in this session only ethical considerations. Now, first of all, tell me what is the process? We read the introductory paragraph, then we read the case scenario, or we read the requirement. Now, what I have suggested always, first of all, read the introductory paragraph, then don't read the scenario, directly jump to the requirements. Now, once you have read the requirements, okay, it is then you can jump to the case scenario. Why specifically I am telling like this? The reason behind this is, see, the scenario is a very big scenario. Okay, once you start the scenario, reading the scenario, and once you end the scenario, you get completely lost in the scenario and you lose the track of what exactly you read it. Okay, so when you read the requirement, okay, your brain gets a code, your brain gets an order. Okay, you have to find this in this scenario, you have to find this particular thing in the given scenario. So try to give your brain a command try to give your brain a command and then read the scenario. So first of all, let's give command. So what is saying? Using exhibit 1, discuss the ethical issues caused by the current business situation. So now you have to discuss what? Ethical issues. You have to discuss what? Ethical issues. Now in the given scenario, you have to discuss the ethical issues. Now in this question particularly, they are talking only about, particularly about ethical issues only. But generally, if you see any question on ethics, they will not only talk about ethical issues, they will talk about ethical issues, plus the question will also ask the actions. So both will be asked in the exam. So now in this question, they are asking only ethical issues, fine. But in the exam, they can ask both. Okay, ethical issues, actions, or you can say safeguards, or you can say threats. So they can give any name, but yes, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared for that. Okay, so before reading the case scenario, let us understand what are ethical issues, how you need to approach towards an ethical issue, how you need to write your answer on ethical issue. It is then we'll read the case, we'll identify the ethical issues, and then we'll discuss how exactly you need to approach this paper. Okay, but before we do that, all of you, come on guys, who are watching this video, this lecture, come on guys, all of you, please like this session, come on, fast, all of you, come on guys. Show some energy, please like the session, and yes, subscribe the channel. Okay, fine. So now let us come to the notes. Day 2, ethical issues. Welcome all of you. Welcome to day 2 on ethical issues. So day 2 on ethical issues, and you know that ethical issues come as part of question number 2, which we have discussed. So understand the ethical issues in the given scenario will revolve around these 5 ethical principles. There cannot be any 6th ethical principle. The ethical principle are only these 5. Okay, so now I will definitely explain what is the meaning of these ethical principles. Definitely I'll explain the meaning of it, but now you need to be very careful. You need to be very aware. Okay, you need to be very much aware. Okay, you need to be very much agile. You need to be very much concentrated. Okay, that okay, if you are finding any topic, if you are finding any issue which is impacting any of these 5 principles, if you are finding any issue which is impacting any of these 5 principles, that's an ethical issue. That is an ethical issue. Now what are the 5 principles of ethics? So the 5 principles of ethics given in the code of ethics are integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional competence and due care, and professional behavior. Sir, what exactly is the meaning of it? Integrity means showing moral honesty. Now understand, let's suppose you have done something wrong. But you were not aware that it was wrong. Then you are showing integrity. Definitely you don't have professional competence. Then I will assume that you don't have professional competence, but you are showing integrity. Okay, let's suppose now different scenario. You are doing something wrong and you know it is wrong. Then also you are doing it. Then it is something called as integrity. Okay, then it is called as integrity. Now what is objectivity? Objectivity means independence. How independent you are in taking your decisions. Are your decisions influenced by someone else? Are your decisions influenced by someone else for whatsoever reasons? If yes, then you are not objective. So you have to see that whether you are independent or not. Sir, how can independent get impacted if the senior in your company, if your senior, if your boss, if your manager is your relative, tell me, will you be independent in taking your decisions? No. If your senior is, you can say, has given you a condition that if you don't do this thing, or if you don't do as I am saying to you to do, then I will you can say I will fire you from the job. Then again, what is happening? You are influenced by his pressure, that is called as intimidation threat. Now your senior is telling you that I will give you your salary will be linked to the profits of the company. Now what is happening? The decisions which you will take, will be to increase the profitability, to the max that you can. Why? Because if you increase the profitability, your salary will increase. Are you independent in taking decisions? No, you are not independent in taking decisions, right? Are you understanding these points? Tell me, guys. So these are few of the examples of objectivity. These are the few of the examples of objectivity. Come on, guys, all of you, please be active on the chat box. The only purpose why I'm taking this session alive is the interaction. Otherwise, I could have uploaded the video on the YouTube as well. Suraj, yes, June 24 students can also refer to this one. Okay, there is no change in the ethics. There is no change. Okay, there is no such change for June 24. June 24 is as good as March 24. There is no such change. Come on, guys, please be active. Please interact. Please type in the comment box. Hello, hello, mic testing. Hello, hello. Okay, now coming to the third point, confidentiality. Now, what is the meaning of confidentiality? So whatever information you have, you need to maintain confidentiality. Let's suppose I was doing a previous job. In the previous job, I got some data of the company. Now I have changed the job and joined a new company. Tell me, will I leak the information of the previous company to this company? Will I leak the information of the previous company to this company? No, ideally I should not. And if I am doing it, I am not showing a behavior of confidentiality, which ideally I am supposed to do, or I am expected to do. Okay, now professional competence and due care. So basically, as a professional accountant, you are required to show professional competence. You are required to show professional competence to the work that you are doing. You cannot say that no, I don't know. You cannot say that you don't know. Okay, if you don't know, please don't accept that work. Okay, but if you are accepting that work and still you don't know how to do it off, then that's called as a professional competence and due care. Now, professional behavior, you as a professional accountant are required to reflect the professional behavior in the work that you do. Sir, how to check whether I'm showing professional behavior or not? If you are showing all these four in your attitude, it is deemed that you are showing professional behavior. If you are not doing that, it is not deemed that you are showing professional behavior. I believe the 5 ethical principles are clear to everyone. Come on, guys, tell me. I believe the 5 ethical principles are clear to everyone. Okay. Approach. Now comes the question, how exactly are you required to approach a question on ethics? How exactly you are required to approach a question on ethics? Understand. First of all, I'll tell you what is the mistake that a student does. Mistake. By student. In exam. What they will do, they will write lengthy paragraphs. They will write lengthy paragraphs and they will write each and everything in one paragraph itself. Okay, they will try to merge each and everything in one. Tell me guys, if you were the examiner, if you were the examiner and you would have been checking the paper and someone gives you an answer where all the points is written as part of a single paragraph and you are not able to find the key points, will you give them marks? Will you give them marks? Ideally, no. Even you won't give your marks to yourself. Then how can you expect the examiner to give you marks? Definitely they won't. Then what to do? Write short paragraphs. Short paragraphs. 1.1 paragraph. 1.1 paragraph. Okay. It is very much okay to write a paragraph of one sentence. It is very much okay to write a paragraph of one sentence. No issues in that. No issues in that. The number of paragraphs, the more the number of paragraphs, the better clarity it will give to the examiner. Okay, the examiner will find, okay, fine. This point 1, this paragraph 1, this paragraph 1, this paragraph 1, this paragraph 1. Now, try to ease the work of examiner. Ease the work of examiner. How exactly you will do the how exactly you will ease the work of examiner? By giving a heading to your paragraphs. By giving a heading to your paragraphs. Okay. Now, let's suppose you are discussing any particular ethical issue. Just describe the entire ethical issue in one word. Just describe the entire ethical issue in one word. One word or 2-3 words, okay? And give that a heading, bold it, and then inside that you write whatever you are writing. Now tell me, understand, the examiner has only 10 minutes or not even 10 minutes to review your entire paper. Tell me, do you think he will read your answer word by word? Tell me, do you think he will read your answer word by word? Not at all. Not at all. Definitely is not going to read your answer word by word. No, definitely not. He will just try to find out the keywords. Now, if you are highlighting the keyword, you are securing your marks. So now the examiner will think, okay, this guy knows things. This guy knows the things. You are highlighting the keyword there. Okay. So now, what is the correct approach? Approach number 1. Give the heading for the issues identified. Let's suppose you have identified issues 1. Issue 1 is integrity. Okay, issue 1 is showing you can say the finance director has done some fraud. So you can write fraud by finance director, and then inside that you write everything. How come you know it is a fraud? How come you know it is linked with integrity? What type of threat it becomes? What is the action that you will take? Inside that you explain everything. But give a heading. Now the examiner, when they are reviewing your paper, they will identify, oh, this guy knows marks. This guy knows where exactly the issue lies. So please play with the brain. Please play with the mindset. Just think from the point of view of examiner. What exactly is the examiner thinking when he or she is evaluating your notebook? Now, and work accordingly. But if you crack this code, if you are able to crack this code, there is no one who can stop you from scoring good marks in ethics. Ethics has been an area where students struggle a lot, but trust me, ethics is an area which is one of the most easiest area which even a normal layman can answer it is ethical or unethical. Which even a normal lay person who doesn't have any understanding about SBR can answer whether it is an ethical or unethical. But you guys have studied everything, accounting issue, everything you have studied, and then also you guys struggle a lot. Why specifically? Because you don't know how exactly to structure your answer, and that's what I'm discussing here. How exactly are you required to structure your answer on ethics? Okay, so approach number 1 is give the heading for the issues identified. Whatever issues you have identified, give the heading of it. Approach number 2, or give the heading as issues and write all the issues. Give the heading of threats, then write all the threats. Give the heading of actions and then write all the actions. Okay. So this is approach number 2. If you ask me, sir, which approach will you recommend? I will always recommend you this approach. I will always recommend you approach number 1. Okay, I will always recommend you approach number 1. Is that clear to you guys? Is that clear to you guys? Come on guys, tell me. Viv, I will answer to your query at the end of the session, okay? I will definitely answer your query, but towards the end of the session, definitely I'll answer your query, okay? About which 5 past papers to refer, I will definitely answer, but towards the end. So let us we are in the flow, so let us discuss it first. Okay, now what I will do is I will take you to the examiner's report. What is the examining team saying? Question number 2, Dario Company. Weaker answers to part A were unstructured, presented a list of rote learned ethical principles with minimal reference to the scenario. Tell me, if you're just writing a rote learned ethical principles which you have just which you learned in your AA paper, okay, so trust me, it is not going to fetch you marks. Okay, now what is the example of rote learned? What is the example of rote learned answer? Okay, now I'll give you an example. This you can say fraud done by the finance director is unethical. This fraud done by finance director shows lack of integrity. This is called as rote learned answers. Boss, if you just write lack of integrity, why lack of integrity? Please explain your point. Please explain how do you think it is or why do you think it is an ethical issue? Why do you think it is an ethical issue? Just identifying the ethical issue won't fetch you that much marks. Identify, then explain why it arose, and then write the actions or the safeguards for that. Okay, first identify the issue. So I'm writing it off here. What exactly you are required to do for an ethical issue, for a question on ethical issue? You have first identify the issue, then explain how it arose, or why it is an ethical issue, then link to ethical principles. If you do this thing, then you will get 1 mark. So you have to do it for all. Now then you have to write actions or the safeguards, and for each action you will get again 1 mark. In this question, action is not required, so definitely we are not going to write the actions, but in the question which requires actions, you have to write the actions as well. Is that clear, everyone? Tell me guys, come on. Is that clear, everyone? Now, approach we have discussed. The marking scheme. See here. What is the marking scheme saying? So these are the ethical issues that they have identified, and for each 2 marks, why they are explaining everything in detail. So it is fetching you 2 marks. Now further coming to the this one, class notes. So we have discussed how you need to, what is a type of answer. Here you have to write the heading. So this is what you have to do for all the ethical issue, and if you do this thing, you will get 2 mark for each issue, and the action that you write, you will get 2 mark for the per issue. You can score 2 marks easily. per issue you can identify, score 2 marks very easily, very easily, very easily. Now coming to the question now. Let's read the question and try to find out the ethical issue. Always keep in mind the 5 principles. Always keep in mind the 5 principles. Now, whenever you think that though any of these principles is getting impacted, bookmark. The finance director FD of Dario company is not a permanent employee but is paid on consultancy basis. Okay, fine. He is currently on a 6 months contract. The chief executive officer is a personal friend of finance director. Bulb is glowing, right? The chief executive officer. Tell me which ethical principle? Objectivity. Which ethical principle? Objectivity. Guys, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Allow me a moment. I think my system is not getting charged. Okay. So now, read this question. So it's a personal. Is a personal friend of finance director, and she recommended him to the board of directors of Dario company. Okay, so this is one of the ethical issue. Second point, Dario company currently has a cash flow problem and the CEO has asked the FD if he is prepared to reduce his current fee by 50%. Okay, now cash flow problem and reduce the fee by 50%. Okay, FD contract is due for renewal in the next 6 months. Okay, the CEO has recently spoken to the finance director and stated that his contract is more likely to be renewed if he is prepared to take a fee reduction. Again an ethical issue, again an ethical issue, again an ethical issue. She has also said that if he needs support as a friend, they will help him. Again an ethical issue, again an ethical issue. The finance director is upset as no other director has taken a cut in their salary. He is currently undertaking a going concern review of the Dario company but has decided not to complete. Now, the finance director is doing going concern review. Okay, now it says but has decided not to complete his report until the consider his position. Basically his position gets finalized. Until then I will not submit my report. So what is happening? Due to the fee cut, the work is getting impacted. So again a ethical issue. The FD findings will also form part of a submission to the government for funding and will be shared with the external auditors. Okay, he knows. Guys, I think there is some challenge in the connectivity. Allow me a moment, please. I'll just fix it off. I'm really sorry for the wait. There were some technical issues happening with me in the connection since yesterday, but I believe okay, fine. Now I feel that there will be no issues. Okay, so now what is it saying? The FD findings will also form part of the submission to the government for funding. The the finance director's finding on going concern will also form part of the submission to the government for funding and will be shared with the external auditors. Now, whatever report the finance director gives on going concern, that will be submitted to the government for taking the funding from the government, There is also a now he knows the current cash flow position would indicate that the company is not a going concern, and that if he submitted his report, there would be no government funding. Now what he is doing? Don't you think he is doing it intentionally? He knew the fact that if I submit my report, the funding will not be given. So he didn't submit the report only. So what is happening? Which point is getting impacted? Integrity. There is also a possibility that the financial statements would receive a qualified report. He is considering the overstating future potential returns on investments. In addition, many of the accounting staff are remote employees, meaning that they are now working at home rather than working in office. The finance director is worried about the possibility of data theft. Okay, now unfortunately he does not have the skills, nor does Dario company have the capacity to undertake a widespread investigation into the issue. Given the current request to reduce his fee and the cash flow situation, he also does not have the incentive to deal with the potential data theft. Since his fees is reduced, he is also trying to reduce his workload. He is not that serious in the work. Why? Because his fees is reduced. Why was fees reduced? Two reasons. First of all, CEO took the advantage of the friendship. Second point, CEO gave him a greed, in self-interest, that if you reduce your fee, I will confirm your position in this company. Okay, I will confirm your position in the company. A sort of a bribe, bribe in kind. Okay, bribe in kind. Now, however, he has asked the information technology department to add productivity monitoring software to all the remote employees' computer without their permission or knowledge. Now tell me, understand one thing. If you are working in any office, and your office installs a device, application in your system which monitors how effectively you are working, is that wrong? No, it is not wrong. But if they are installing it without informing you or without taking permission from you, is that wrong? Yes, that is wrong. Okay, now, and any employee who spends time on non-business websites will be immediately disciplined. Okay, so basically not taking permission is the wrong thing. Installing is not wrong. Further, so these are the ethical issues which you have found out. How many ethical issues? Personal friend 1, fee reduction 2, okay, going concern report 3, cash flow problem 4, data theft 5, okay, not doing the work properly 6, and then information technology 7. So 7 issues you have identified. For how many marks? For 10 marks you have identified 7 issues. Even if you score 2 marks per point, then you can score 14 marks, but you have to write only for 10 marks. So what are the issues that you have identified? See, I have identified already here. Relationship. So now this can be one of the heading, relationship of FD with CEO. So then what will you write? Since the CEO and finance director are close friends having a personal relationship, what will happen? This will give rise to objectivity issue. Okay, this indicates lack of objectivity. This indicates lack of objectivity. Now what I am saying, see, first of all, I identified the issue. Then I am saying how it arose, since there was a personal relationship. Then I am saying I am linking it with the ethical principle. Okay. Then after that I will discuss any further. Then after that I will discuss any further. Then after that I might say that since they have close relationship, it might lead to you can say integrity issues. It might lead to self-interest threat. Why self-interest threat? Why self-interest threat? Because here in this case, finance director has taken the fee cut, to secure his position in the company, right? So he has a personal motivation. Okay, to remain in the company. That is a self-interest of the finance director. That is a self-interest of the finance director. Now further, fee reduction. Now once the fee reduction is happening. Again, why this fee reduction is happening? Because there was lack of objectivity, because there was lack of independence, right? And the finance director is you can say influenced by or has an undue pressure from the CEO. The finance director has undue pressure from the CEO. Right? He is unable to say anything. Hence, he has to take a pay cut, fee cut. Now, what is happening as a result of fee cut? Tell me. He will not be doing his duties appropriately. Okay. Now, going concern report. Now, again, integrity issue here, a professional competence and due care responsibility here. Why? First of all, he knew that it is wrong, but still he is doing that. Mistake. Integrity, one issue. Second point. He didn't submit the report. Okay, which was for the government funding. Okay, don't you think it represents his profession? He doesn't have any professional behavior. Right? So again, that's a ethical issue. Risk of data theft. Now, if you have a risk of data theft, that represents professional competence. You don't have the professional competence. Just because you have a cash flow problem, you are allowing the data to be theft. You can link this with the confidentiality point as well. Now, the fifth point is approach of finance director towards the employees. Now, again, integrity getting impacted. Why integrity is impacting here? You are not showing a moral behavior. See, if you have to install any application in the laptop or in the system of the employees, very well, you can do that. You do have the authority to install any application to monitor the effectiveness of the work of the employees, or to see if they are visiting non-business websites. Okay, let's suppose you are working for KPMG, but you are visiting, opening up any job portals and applying for jobs. Okay, now, so if the company is applying restrictions on your that you should not visit the those applications, those websites, it's fine. But if the company is not providing restrictions, rather the company is just trying to monitor. That whether they visit or not, and if they are visiting, then what will happen? See, read the question. Any employee who spends time on non-business websites will be immediately disciplined. So basically, they will fire them. So understand, there is something called as a personal space. Right now, if you have to install a software to monitor, you can do that, but only after informing them, only after, you can say, taking their permission. If you have to block the website, yes, you can do that. Without the permission. That you can do. But are they blocking the website? No, they are not blocking the website. Rather, they are monitoring. Are you understanding? It's like a boy is having a doubt on his girlfriend. Okay, it's like a boy is having a doubt on his girlfriend. Now, rather than doing the breakup, he's just trying to keep an eye on his girlfriend. A very silly example of this. A very silly example, but yes, an apt example in this scenario. If you are trying to keep an eye, it is wrong. Okay, if you found that, okay, if you are very much clear that they are doing this, fire them off, okay, or inform them or discuss with them, rather than keeping an eye of secretly. That is wrong. Is that clear to everyone? Tell me, guys, come on. Unethical, yes. Now, so that's all. That's how you have to write your answers. So always remember that you are giving the sufficient headings. You are giving sufficient headings in your answers. Sufficient headings. Okay, these can be the headings, and inside that you can explain your points. So what are the things that you need to keep in mind? What are the things that you need to keep in mind? Headings. Okay, I am writing the pointers again. What are the things that you need to keep in mind for an ethical issue? Always give headings. Second point, write short paragraphs but structured paragraphs. Third point, 1 mark per point. Fourth point, you have to when you are explaining a point, you have to write what is the ethical issue. What is the ethical issue plus how it arose, link to ethical principle, then actions. Okay, so this is how you are required to write the answer in the exam. Is that clear, everyone? If you are doing it this way, trust me, guys, out of 10 definitely will score somewhere in the range of 8. Sir, can we score 10 out of 10? Yes, you can, but it's difficult. It is difficult, a little bit difficult to score 10 out of 10 in ethics. Any other answers, yes, you can do that, but in ethics it will be a little bit difficult to score 10 out of 10. Okay, but yes, nothing is impossible. Now going to the examiner report. Now what is it saying? So unstructured answers not accepted. Presented a list of rote learned ethical answers, not accepted. Minimal reference to scenario, not accepted. Lengthy extracts from the scenario without providing any comments on which ethical principle are being breached or why the information was relevant. Okay, so lengthy extracts not required. Okay, discussion on why it is an ethical issue is required. Linking to the ethical principle is required. Okay, focus on, okay, some answers, weaker answers tend to focus on only one or two of the many issues which were available for comment. Okay, so it says that what weaker answers did, they identified one or two issue, and for throughout the answer they discussed that issue only. No, you won't get marks for that. You have to identify the issues. Discuss those issues. Now further, now what exactly you are required to do? See, examiner is telling that this is what you have to avoid, but this is what you are required to do. Okay, now what you are required to do? Focused on each issue identified from the scenario, explained the ethical issue breached, scored very well. Maximum marks were possible for a relatively short but well structured answer. Relatively short but a structured answer. Is that what I wrote here? Short but structured. Now comes the next point. Sir, how to score 2 professional marks? What are we required to do with that? So now the examiner is telling you, for professional marks, my dear friend, you are not required to write anything separately. For the professional marks. Rather, the 2 professional marks will be available. 1 mark for identifying the relevant ethical principles, and a second mark over how well you are applying that ethical principle in the given scenario. how well you are applying that to the given scenario. So these will fetch you the professional marks. Now students generally get confused, sir, what exactly to write in the professional marks? Nothing, just write your answer properly, it will give you professional marks automatically. Just write your answers properly, it will automatically give you the marks. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? Come on guys, tell me. Wonderful, wonderful. So this is all about ethics. This is all about ethics. Now in the tomorrow session, we will be discussing the question number 3 and the question number 4, the important parts of question number 3 and the question number 4, where you can make mistakes. Okay, and we'll wrap up this revision session for the SBR for March 24 examinations. But yes, those who have not watched the day 1, please go and watch that. Why I am asking you to go and watch the day 1? Because of 2 reasons. One, the students struggle in how to deal with pre-populated response area. So I have solved it personally there in detail, how I used to solve in my regular class, exactly the same way I have solved that question. Second point, console cash flow is again one of the weakest area of the students. So I have discussed console cash flow in the pre-populated response area. So definitely it will give you a really good insight on how to deal with the console cash flow and how to deal with the pre-populated response area. Okay, now that's all for the day. But yes, to answer one of the students' query, how to which past papers we have to take. So to answer your query, Viv, you have to take the last 5 papers starting from December 23, which I am solving now. So then go to September 23, then go to March 23, then go June 23, then March 23. Okay, whatever papers are available, last 5, take last 5, solve last 5, solve last 5. Okay, latest ones, latest 5. I can say latest 5. That is a better way of saying latest 5. Okay, solve those questions and it will be done. Plus 5 past papers plus 1 pre-mock exam paper. If you are doing it, trust me, no one can stop you from scoring good marks in SBR. Not pass, but good marks in SBR. Okay, so that's all for the day, guys. That's all for the day. I believe you enjoyed the sessions. Okay, I believe you would have enjoyed the sessions. Yes, 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 please ask. I believe you can discuss your query with me in the group. Okay, please. I believe you are there in my group. If not, then join the group. You can post your query in that. Definitely, I'll resolve your query. Okay, okay. That's all for the day, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. I hope you enjoyed this one. And yes, please don't forget to write your feedback in the in the comment box. Okay. Bye bye.